Hello guys and welcome to the stream. Wait, so today we're going to be making something, some medical animations, and I found this demo reel by Animated Healthcare. I think they make medical visualizations like viruses and stuff like that. So we are going to be trying to make stuff like that. Let me send you to their page. Let me show you their page if you want to. If you want to check out them. And we're going to be making some of these animations from here. And you can check out their reel. Let me see, which one? I think we can even just start with this because I want to make a few of these. So let's start with this. I think they shouldn't be that hard to make. They just really looked interesting to me. I thought we could give them a try. Why is this saying no data? Okay, anyway. So let me get the screenshots I've used. Okay. And you can let me know if everything is good. Oh, by the way, before you even start, let me show you what we rendered in the last stream. Hello, AJ Creations. With my shorts. So anyone who was here in the last stream, this is what we created. And I think you can remember the process. But yeah, so let's make something like this. Shouldn't be too hard. And I think we can use, what processor and graphics card do you have? I use an i9. Let me see if I can get. I should set up Nightbot to answer some of these questions. Love from India. Thank you, thank you. So I use an i9, 32 GB of RAM and a 3070 for as the graphics card, 8 GB of RAM. Right, let's create this. Should we start with that? I think we can start with a torus. Let's do maybe 16 vertices and yeah, something like that. I'm just going to come in here, delete this and just fill this in. So that's our cell. We can just use the displace clouds. I see. Yeah, I think that's good enough. Then maybe even add another displacement modifier. Hey, thank you, Dracol Donald. Draconaldox. Thank you. Anyway, let's create another displacement. Let's this place, but this time I want us some high frequency. So the size usually ends at 2, and you can't scroll any further, but if you type in a value, it would still work. So I'm going to just reduce the frequency. Yeah, something like that. But if you change the coordinates to global, this the shape changes for these. You know, I don't like this. You know, let me just use 1. And so in the let me have this. Where's my blender? Let me have this here. Hey Vin, how is Argentina? It's an easy animation. So let's not spend too much time on this. So let me just I'm going to call this red cells. We need some T cells, but let's first work on the look, general look. I'm going to be a bit fast in these. What music is this? Okay. Let's have an emitter to the side. We can actually, let's use an emitter from the side. Give it a particle system. The particles should go, let me rotate this 180. We don't need any gravity. So field weights, no gravity. And we can accelerate these, maybe let's use 10. That's too much, let's use 5. And the end frame can be, their life should be long, 250, and the end frame should also be 250. And we don't need that many. Let's say 500. And for the render, let's use, we probably need to use a collection, but let me just go with object. Increase the size, randomness, and turn on rotation. Give this some random value, and turn on dynamic and angular velocity of 1 so that they are constantly rotating. This is red cells. Okay, let me just have this in a collection called particle instances, and this is going to be red particle instancer. Dasindu Rhythmica after a long time. Yeah, I came back to streaming. It's been a while. Let's use 100 maybe. Yeah, something like that. Okay, I'm wondering if we could get away with just using Eevee for this. No, we are in April already. Sorry, May, June. Hey, 15 likes already. Thank you guys. Thank you. Let's see. What is it? What is sales animation? Okay, so we have that. Let's first set up everything with Eevee and see. We have lights up. So let me use an area light. And the background. At the background, I'm just going to create an arc Let me just rotate this. I want a half arc. Like that. That is subdivided, and it should be in back of the camera, in front of the camera, just like this. And it's also going to get some subdivisions. Will the 15K and 47 Super be suitable for Blender? Yeah, it should be. That even looks better than my setup. So yeah, definitely. And the best way to test that is basically just to test it. Open up Blender and give it a try. Okay, so okay, I want the subdivisions. Let's first add a displacement. Let me see what can we do here. So because this is going to be the back, let me scale things down a bit. I'm going to add some sort of ridges in here. So let me select a few vertices because I want it to look like inside of a vein. My cursor, since is still at the center, I can just scale this on the X to have something like that. Maybe I can add some subdivisions. Let me go to the world, set it to dark, and I can now also add in some displacement, and that is going to be a clouds, and just something like that. Perfect. Now for the lighting, I think we can have a light in the back here, and just give this translucence and maybe a subsurface scatter. Okay, Blender seems to be frozen because I used the subsurface scatter. I'm just going to switch to cycles. I think it's going to be much better with this. And Blender is still hanging. Okay. I think it's still compiling shaders. Now it's okay. Let me just switch to cycles. I don't want to. Those poses kind of scare me a bit. Okay, so let me see if I give this a subsurf. Yeah, you can see that it's starting to look like skin. Perfect. And I want to see if I add some translucence, if this would help. Yeah, I think that makes it look like actual skin. Perfect. And since we are looking at the interior of veins, let's add some extra small veins. So let me find a veins texture. Any of this could do. Yeah, I like this better. So too small. Let's see if I can get it. Let me just go with this. And I'm just going to grab that. Why is it? Oh, this is in some stupid format. I can't download. I love your videos. Oh, thank you. Why did you stop live streaming for a long time? I was working on other stuff and I couldn't find the time for live streaming. But we're back. But this time I'm going to stick with it for some time and see how it goes. Anyway, so first let's unwrap this. And I think you can already see that this is going to be great for adding some interesting detail. And let's see if I can just use this as bump. Shift E, bump. And yeah, I think that's great. Let's see if I can use it for, yeah, definitely exactly as I wanted. It's coming in as I wanted. It's looking like skin. Alright, then I think we can apply the same material. Let me call this skin red. Let me apply the same material to the cells. I just need to be unwrapped. Let me use a cube projection. But they don't need that to be that rough. So I think I can just reduce on the bump and also make them, yeah. Then let's create these. I don't know if this would be white cells. They look a bit tricky to make, but let's see. Let's see how we can make these. We can use, let's use a cube. Let me first pause this. Subdivide it. I want a well subdivided mesh to be able to get these details. Let's see if I could use geometry nodes to create a nice selection of different vertices. There is, can we use a magic texture? I want to see how it looks on this. Use a ramp. Yeah, I think maybe this could work. Let's see if I just look at the faces, I can extrude mesh, but from this selection, not in the video. Let's see, can I use, I think we're getting something. I can use a set position and just to smoothen this. Vector math. No, it should be a blur node. So this is a vector. Now we can try extruding again. Let's see. It's giving us some interesting shape. Let me see if we subdivide this again. Subdivide surface. Yeah, I think that's an interesting shape. It looks organic. So I'm going to use that, and let me reduce. What is magic texture? Next texture? What does that do? It creates. It's a texture itself. It creates different patterns. Let me show you here. If it was a sphere, if it was a shader, and we use the magic texture, it creates some interesting patterns. That's why I used it instead of the noise texture. You can see, yeah, so the noise just gives you, we could also have used the noise, but I thought the magic texture would give us better results. Let's go back to geometry nodes. Alright, so now let's I think we can give this the same material we have. So shader editor, let's give it the same skin. This time let's call this white. And we're going to create another particle instance. Let's call this cells. So we need another cells. White cells. So this time let's use this white cell we have just created. White cell. By the way, project files are going to be on my Patreon page in case you want them. So Patreon and my YouTube membership page. So here, let's change this from red to white. And you can see they are all in the same place. So let's switch. Let's use a different seed. This time this could be less. Let's see their rotation. So their velocity, maybe they move a bit slower, and you can give them some randomization, extra randomization too, so that they don't look the same. And their scale can also be, maybe they can be smaller. Now let's make this wider so that it covers a large area. Okay, so this is what we have. Maybe let me introduce another light. Okay, that's cool. Thank you. Alright, so the white cells are going to use a white color. And let's reduce their subsurface. So they need to use more. I don't know why they look more. They have a lot of purpleness in them. Let's see, is that is RGB. Maybe increase the red. They shouldn't have any translucence in them. Anyway. I think the particles have to be smaller. So let's do and we can give this a depth of field, a very shallow depth of field. Let me turn on limits to see where our depth of field is. Focal distance, so yeah, something like that. And I'm also going to come back to the instances here, to the white blood cells, and I'm just going to reduce and come here. I want to reduce the displacement we have, and what I'm going to do is just blend the old position with the new. Actually, so if I smooth this, I can reduce. Let me just use a single value here to control the offset of all these. Okay, so that's our cell. You can go in negative values and it looks also quite interesting. I think I like this better. And maybe we need more particles. Let's do 300 by 100. Increase the size a bit. Let me see, how does this look in Eevee with lighting and everything? And we could try to create something that looks like liquid in here. I'm just going to create a sphere. Rotate it. Sorry, I can have a cylinder. A cylinder, and should be, yeah, something like this. So I want to see if I use a volume absorption, if this would work. Volume absorption. I know it's cool. Is that? And let's try volume scatter. Thank you for the 28 likes, guys. Thank you. Because this makes it, I think, makes it look like they're inside something. And maybe we could use a noise texture for the density. Just use a math node to reduce which is change this to viewport wireframe. And one thing I would like to see is some maybe pulsating, this vein to be a little bit pulsating. And maybe let's try using a wave. Let me change this to Eevee. Okay, that isn't bad, but not exactly what I was going for. Let's see. Maybe this is too much. Just a little bit of movement. I think it makes it really look more organic. There is also that. Yeah, it's a choice you could also use. Let's create these Y and T cells, and those we can just use mesh. Let's do, I think we can just create them from a line like this and shape it however we want. We can use, I think it's called a skin, yeah. If you use Alt A, Control A, you can scale the shape, let's add some subdivisions. And with enough subdivisions, we can we can add a displacement. Let's see. Can I even copy modifiers? We can add a displacement. Again, clouds. Clouds just like that. For some reason, this is not shading auto smooth. This is not shading correctly. Let's see. Yeah, smooth shading. Okay, so that can be our Y cells. Y and T cells. Yeah, let's use the same red cell material as a starting point, and if I suppose this, and this time let's use this in the bump. Oh, we already have that. Oh, we need to UV unwrap this. This is going to be a different material. Hello, Midnight Studio. Glad to see you here. How are you? Okay. But these are purplish, and they shouldn't have any I don't know, translucence seems to make them look good, so let me just skip it. Okay. So I can have them in the same particle system. Let me call these Y cells. Okay. And I think for this, let me call it, let's use the collection particle instance. It seemed to be too big. Let me reset the origin. Apply scale. No. Their subsurface should be less. And actually they shouldn't have any translucence, and they should also be even smaller compared to the others. Not sure. Yeah, today I'm a bit tired. I didn't want to set up the camera. And changes to add. Let me first use a principal volume here, and just to take a look at this volume. And we can turn on some compositor effects like bloom, which is under glare. So bloom. Let's take a look at just the bloom. Yeah, I think bloom is one of the things that makes it seem like we are under water or liquid. I purchased your course 2 days ago. Just started learning it, though it is streamlined there. Some nodes just use without explaining them, and I needed to ask. No, you can always, if you're using Udemy, you can send me a message directly, and I'm always online, so I try to answer them quickly. So if you run into any issues, just ask me, and it also helps out any other students that may run into the same issue that you are running into. If you ask the question there, I can answer them directly there. Let me add. Let me just add this on top of the old image. I want to have some really bright areas. And let me use color. Can I increase the strength even more? And we can use some color balance. And let's increase our f-stops so that we are not blurring everything. Yeah, I think now it's starting to look like inside a cell. We can add some distortion, lens distortion, to add some light dispersion at the edges here. And we can also add some vignetting. So that would be a shape. So that's usually under a mask, ellipse, yeah. So that's this, width of 1, height of 1, maybe height of 0.5. Blur this quite a lot. Perfect. And multiply. That's Okay. Now maybe let's give this skin, make it more weight. And I'm also going to capture the simulation. So let's go to the particle system and what? Catch back. I'm talking about Houdini Course. Yeah, it's same with the Houdini Course. You can ask me about anything and I'll explain it. Sometimes in the future, will you be making a course dedicated to compositing? Yeah, I will definitely do that. Now, and I'm tempted to make this go full circle. So let's do a mirror. But that closes out our camera and everything else. I wanted to add in some slight animation. Maybe a push. Yeah, so that's 167. I'm not sure how patient you are, but I want to see if this could render out. So let's do 5 seconds per frame. Maybe that's too long, but I don't know. 5 seconds per frame, and the resolution we can reduce to maybe 50%. And I'm just going to render this out as 8246 MPEG 2. Okay. Cells. I want to see how fast, if this is going to render fast enough, and hopefully it doesn't crash the stream. Please consider creating a full course on medical animation. I'm learning Blender specifically for that purpose, and I have already purchased your Geometry Nodes course. Oh, thank you. I'll do that. I would love to deep dive into medical animation with your guidance, especially if you could cover how to use plugins like molecular nodes as well. I'll try. I'll definitely try and see. What does the time limit do? Oh, it limits how long each frame takes to render. So right now each frame, instead of taking a minute, it's taking 5 seconds. But that means that no matter how many samples have been calculated, because each render takes a number of samples to render. So yeah, instead of finishing all the samples you have set, it renders up to 5 seconds, and then goes to the next frame. So after this render finishes, let's see what else can we try. I'm trying to see some of the things that are making this look like are inside fluids. I think having some particles floating around helps. And by the way, anyone who hasn't gotten the link, this is the link to the video we are referencing. They have some amazing animation, and their channel is dedicated to this. to the medical field like this. Maybe we could do this. We can do this next. There are a ton of animations that I really want to try out. And I'm not sure which application they use. They don't mention here. But their renders just look amazing. I think what makes it look like liquid is having a lot of depth of field and some small particles moving around in the fluids. Oh, that was a nice animation there. Just look at how the cell subdivides. I want to try that out and see, because let's see, how would you go about creating something like this? Cell subdivision. I'm not sure. Can I start a new session of Blender? Let me see. No, let's wait for the render to finish, because I can see it's a bit heavy. Those renders look like from Redshift, or so I think maybe Cinema 4D. I think so. Yeah, they have that clean look to them. I want to try out this cell subdivision thing and see if I can. Let me see. I think if you have two copies of the same thing and then you shrink them on one side, and then actually I want to try out this and see if I can do a cell subdivision like this. Let's just give this a few seconds to render and come back to it. This looks really good. Do you think we can replicate those videos in Blender? Yeah, there is nothing here that Blender can't do. There is nothing here that Blender can't do. I don't see anything that stands out. Just requires a little bit of time to dedicate to, but it doesn't even seem like you have to do too much work to achieve these results. Because you can see this was very easy for us to do. This is very easy. It's just you can even use you can use geometry nodes to instance some curves on some mesh and give these some wavy animation using a noise texture, and these also are very easy to do. These patterns might be a bit hard to create. Yeah, these patterns might be a bit hard to create. Maybe you can sculpt them. Oh, let me see. I'm trying to think. Yeah, no. You could use the dual mesh to create the patterns, and then maybe deform the mesh into a sphere like this. Let's see what else. This is easy. Nothing stands out. Yeah, I think we can do this, and maybe we would be trying them over and over and see. Yeah, but thank you guys for 39 likes. Just one more to go to 40 likes. Okay, this here. Okay, this might be a bit difficult to make, because you can see you go from a very smooth mesh to a bubbly cell like that, but I think you can still figure it out. We can still figure it out. Are you reading my mind or something? I was just typing geomesh. Yeah, I think we are thinking of the same techniques. So yeah, geomesh would work there. Some of these are more complicated than others. Yeah, this could also use, most of these would be much easier to create using geometry nodes. We have rendered, let me stop the render here and take a look at what we have rendered so far. Okay, what I like about this, I think the skin, the background skin really looks good, and the animation might be a bit too much, but I think it's adding something to this. The comment said it was all done in Blender. Ah, seriously? Ah, nice. I don't know. Oh, the comments on the video? Where are the comments? Okay. Amazing medications. The best Blender work so far. Ah, so this was done in Blender. Yeah, yeah, I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be able to be, why it would be difficult to do in Blender. Anyway, let me share this render on Discord, and maybe you guys can critique it a bit, and let me know what you think about it. It's just a very small test I've done. I think we would have to reduce the vignetting. Let me see, where did I put this? See, temp. Okay. For some reason, I've rendered this in a format. It should have been MP4, but I've rendered it in a DVD format, so I can't upload it. Anyway. Alright, so I wanted to try the cell subdivision version, which was this here. Now, it's using some patterns. So let's use a cube. I'm going to apply this, and I'm just going to first sculpt this using the, what is it called, Dinotopo, to create those patterns. Let's do maybe 6. You can create some interesting patterns. Some organic patterns. Thank you, Karan Kumar. They use simulation nodes, apparently. Simulation nodes. Yeah, I can see how they would use it. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to use this maybe as okay. Let's go out of scout mode and let's look at the wireframe. Not too bad. And let me call this subdivision. So subdivision, because I want to see how to turn these into 2 copies. So the way they're doing it here, you have one cell and it splits in 2. So I think we need to create a gradient. Let's see if we go to geometry nodes. I can create a gradient that runs left to right, just like that, but I want it to be from here. Let me see. It would be, can we use a bounding box and then use you know what, let's keep things simple. I'll just use a position and vector math to move the gradient. Yeah, so we have the maximum here and the minimum here. And thank you, Lucknow. Thank you. What does Dino Topo do? It automatically subdivides the mesh for you, so it adds subdivisions for you while you're sculpting. Because normally when you're sculpting, you don't have enough subdivision. So when you turn on Dino Topo, where you're sculpting is where more subdivisions are added. Okay, I think I want to flip this around, but no, you know what? I need to use the bounding box to create the gradient. So we need to use a map range. Let's use a vector. So this is the minimum and this is the maximum, and we can separate this. Is this working? We need the position as the input. Let's go to the geometry nodes, to the spreadsheet, and see if this gradient min max from mean. Yeah, this should. I know what, let me use the attribute statistics. Should give me what I want, because I want to create the same gradient, but I want the gradient to be more procedural so that it covers it creates a procedural gradient. Even when I change the scale of this, I want it to still work. But if you use the texture gradient, it won't be procedural. So this, and we want the ramp, the map range. So this is going to be a vector. So we have, this is the vector. We have the from mean and from max. Giving us a gradient. but it should be the X. So I think I can flip this using a ramp. Flip. Because what I want to do is scale this from one side. So using set position, I can use the position node and scale this using a vector math. And yeah, that gives us exactly what we want, because you can see that the way this works, it splits in half just like that. And I think we can achieve that with this. So if I add a math node here, does that work? Yeah, so that's I'm trying to see. How does this animation work? So, because the idea is to have two versions, one mirrored like this, are all using the same nodes. So if I have this animated, you can see how that split would come through. But I guess this should be in the same position, so that without the animation, okay. Without the animation, they should be the same. Already seen all of these, loved them. So happy you are making tutorials on this. Gonna watch this live a bunch. Please do more. Thank you. All right, so I'm thinking of another way to do this without geometry nodes, and I think, let me make sure I'm saving this. Okay, I think we don't even need geometry nodes for this. So let me first bypass that. Let me turn on random colors here. Let's try using, what is it called? Lattice. Lattice deform. Let's see. So it seems that it starts out normal, then squeezes, and then the particles separate. So we can give this a lattice deform. Lattice deform, select the lattice, and let me scale this. Let's add more subdivisions. If this moves out, you see it goes back to its own shape. I think I need more subdivisions. So when this goes this side, let's see, how does the animation start? Okay. Okay. Okay, I should have reset this. Let me first get rid of all these. Okay, so let's set some keyframes. So we start with the basis and squish this and scale this in, and maybe push these in as well. Okay, so we have that animation. Let's see. I see. I'm starting to see how this works. But there are a few steps we need. I think we need an empty to act as the parent for everything. So I'm going to select all of these, parent it to the empty, and make the empty coming from down. So this should be its end position. Let me have this in a backup collection. Okay, it should be the end position. So we start off down here, come up, and this here goes to the left. Yeah, and we should have a copy going to the right. So Shift D, and this goes to the right. Okay, then we animate the lattice, so comes up here, no animation. So let me set this to 0, and then splits. Perfect. I think that's it. So we're kind of following this. Yeah, I think that's how you do that. Just employing a lattice. Let's get rid of these. Yep. And now you can see that they are still intersecting here. So we could use some materials to make sure that to remove that intersecting. Let's work on the background and other things and set up some lighting. So they don't go too far away from each other. So here, yeah, let's add some lights maybe. And I'm just going to borrow from the cell animation. I'm going to get this skin object, have it in the back. This time let's make it white. Sorry to interrupt, sir. Could you help identify how to create this impact effect procedurally in Blender? You can send me the link in Discord, and let me send you the Discord. Where is that? Invite people, copy. You can send me the link there. Okay, I want this to be white. And let's add me remove any background lighting and turn on the noise. Let's use 300. And the camera should focus. Let's turn on limits. Yeah, should focus on these objects and these cells. All right, done. Let's see. Nice. That looks incredible, man. Nice, nice. It's doable, but maybe you could try it in the next stream. Okay, I'm going to give this. I'm just going to copy the same material we used. Let me grab the white cell, paste it in here, and use its material. And maybe this time let's use some of these veins. Let's use our cube project. Have you checked how new Vulkan system is operating? No, I haven't. But I think you wouldn't notice any difference except the speed. I don't think there is going to be a big change in how Blender works, unless I'm mistaken. Let's use this should have a translucence. This should let's use 0.1. Obviously we might just grab these particles to act as the background in this. I really like reusing assets I've created. So okay, why do we have this? Perfect. Maybe they shouldn't go too far. They could just hang around. Yeah, but we have a cell subdivision. And you know what? I think what would make this look even better is making this transparent. So let me give it a jelly look. Okay, let me first wait. Let me keep it like that. Let's make this have a copy inside here. And this one is going to get the skin material, maybe the red skin. And this can be transparent. No, this can be like glass. And this I'm going to use the same object, Control L, ink object data, Control L, object data. Wish I had your Blender skills. You watch a video and instantly replicate it. Thank you. Yeah, it's just practicing over and over. We can do a wave texture and color ramp in shading to change it from tiles to text with some displacement. Yeah. You're right here. You're right. That's a good way to do it, to approach it. I'm thinking you're talking about the animation we saw. This here. Totally doable. Yeah, it is doable. When I say wave texture, I mean we can set the position of and change it with yeah. I'm trying to render this. I think we need more light. Okay, and this let me use a ramp here, change the colors. What else do you think we could add here? I started learning geometry nodes around 4 months ago, so it's not that hard. Yeah, geometry nodes is surprisingly not that hard, especially when you start practicing with it. Perfect. Now, I don't want... Let me just create a volume. Let me use volume instancing, and let me change the instancing to... Yeah. And inside the source should be volume instead, so that we have particles. And the velocity, let's set normal velocity to 0. And let me also come here and just push this. Okay, these need some extra animation, so I'm just going to keep them moving around. And okay, let me they need some bit of rotation, so let's apply the rotation in geometry nodes, and that would be the transform. Yeah, give this a random value vector. Okay, I need that time. Set the seconds as the ID. Okay, that's... Oh, no. I need... Let's use a value. Connect this as the ID, and that should clear this error here. And you can see we have some slight animation to this. We should also be applied to this, so this should also get the same geometry nodes animation, and it should be after the lattice, because we want them to start off the same, and we get that. Okay, I don't like that the particles sometimes are going through the cells, so I'm just going to give these a collision and make sure that we damp the velocity of the particles so that they don't bounce too much. Go in EV here, go a second, turn on ray tracing. Hey, 55 likes. Thank you guys. Thank you. Okay, now what would be even more interesting is doing the cell subdivision one again. And let me see. The way we would do that is basically I want to see if I can do another cell subdivision. Can this be done inside geometry nodes? Because the way we're doing it right now, trying to see if we could do it with geometry nodes, but it might become complicated. Oh, I also don't want how these particles are just popping out. So what we're going to do is just emit them on frame 1, all of them at frame 1, so that we don't have more particles. Let's go to this. Okay, we have a cell subdivision. I think repeating the cell subdivision is just a matter of having a copy of the lattice and having another lattice deformation. And basically doing the same thing, just copying this and moving it to the other side. And so this is so you move this to the other side and then copy another one and move it to another side. But that's too much trouble for today. All right, take a look at this. We can turn on some compositor effects. Let's see if we can use the same compositor effects we have here. Can I just copy this? Ctrl C, Ctrl V. No? I should be able to copy these. I think I need at least one active node. I guess I can't. I wanted the point of contact maybe to have some bit of energy. Oh, let's try something else. I'm just going to create a new geometry nodes. I will go to the geometry nodes here. I want this effect to look more interesting than we have. Let me call this GN. I want a connection between these two. So what if we have these? Always my geometry nodes. If we bring them in, this and this, set them to relative, we can have a line. We can have a line, a curved line that starts from one location to the other. Basically, that points between the two meshes. And actually, let me select these, isolate things so that it's much easier. So we have a line that points between the two, and we can subdivide it, or we can resample it and mesh it, curve to mesh, create a circle for the profile. Just like that. Why Blender team ain't fixing the let me see. Why didn't you just mirror it with clipping when touched at a certain distance? Mirror with clipping, I don't think it would work, because mirror with clipping will delete some geometry. I don't think it would work. And you wouldn't have this scaling in animation that we have. Okay, this is what I want to do here. Let me use shrink. Let me shrink it in the middle using the spline parameter, and set radius, set curve radius. I want, should I use a float curve? Let me use a gradient. Let me use a ramp. Imagine there is a whole paid add-on just to copy your nodes from one editor to the other. Yeah, Blender has a bit of limitations. I don't know, their development team is always they don't have a large development team, so sometimes features you expect are kind of delayed a bit, but we can't complain too much because it's a free application. Okay, so I want a way to join these like that, and maybe let me even give them the same noise. Set position, set materials, the same material, the skin white. That's we need to UV unwrap these. Anyway. So you can see when they open up. Another thing we could do is we can have multiple connections. We can do a duplicate mesh, spline, maybe a few times, and use our set position. Just randomize the position a bit. Random vector. So this is -1, and just vector math, scale the randomization down a bit. And I also want them to kind of slug a bit. So I'm going to use a set position here, and using the factor, I use a combine X. Is a float curve. A float curve. Can I just let me just use our ramp. This spline, and just use a math node. Just multiply this. But we don't want the sagging to be the same, so I'm going to be using a random value here for each of these. How long does it take to render this kind of animation? I don't think it takes a lot of time, because I think we rendered the we rendered the first one. No, not this one. We rendered the first animation we created, this, live on stream while streaming, and it didn't take that long. This is supposed to be MPEG 2. Was it? Yeah, I don't. Was it MP4? Yeah, MPEG 4. Okay, I rendered a wrong format, so I can't play back anyway. But it took us a few minutes, and I was streaming, so. Okay, so I have this. I want to randomize these, and we can use the evaluate on domain to make sure that these are we are randomizing these individually. And the other thing I want to do is what else? Let me also scale these down a bit. There may be multiply here. Let's try using power. Okay. The other thing we need to do is randomize these the radius, and that would just be using a multiply here and a random value. Zero to 1. Evaluate on domain. That is spline. Can add more duplicates maybe, or fewer, and we now need some UVs for this, so I'm going to use a store named attribute. This is a vector, and I'm going to call this UV. This should actually be a float. And let me call this X, a spline parameter. And this is for the Y. And we're using this skin white material. So let's make sure that it's using skin white 3. Make sure that we're using the same. We create our own coordinates. So that's going to be attribute X and attribute Y. By the way, if this is a bit confusing for you, you can check out my geometry nodes course. It explains most of these things, because these streams would be too long if I was explaining everything. But that one. Okay, so we have that. Thank for the tutorial videos. Hope you will have more medical promotion tutorials. Yeah, I will definitely do. And if you have some interesting, you can always send them to me. If you have anything interesting, you can always send them to me as well. Yeah, that's our split. And I don't know if the lines make things more interesting, or I don't know. I just wanted to add something extra there. 61 likes. Thank you guys. Thank you. Likes are really a good way of promoting the stream to other viewers, which also motivates me to stream more. And if you guys have examples you want us to check out or try out on stream, you can always just join Discord. That's the link, and send me some stuff we could try out on stream. Let's see. Can anyone tell me how long we have been streaming? Because I want to see. Is it like, I think it's almost going to 2 hours. I think let's go to the compositor here a bit, and maybe add the same setup. Add some blooms. Let me see. Full glow. And then bloom. Let's do some color correction. Add some less distortion. Yeah, I want a light in the back here. Now I think if we can even animate it to go back and forth to kind of simulate pulsating. I don't know, or maybe just animate the power as well. 1 hour and 46 minutes. Oh, thank you, PR Studio. Oh, that's good. Not bad at all. I want to give this a render. Maybe make this more reflective. The greatest of the world, 107 minutes. Ah, thank you. Good. Okay, do we try another one as the last one? How does their render look so good? Yeah, I think it's the number of detail they have in there. And the resolution. Okay, let's see. And this would be to take too long to render. This is quite interesting as well. Yeah, they have some interesting renders. But anyway, I'm going to give this a render. And yeah, I think I'm going to end the stream here. Next time we can try out other stuff. You can also send me some recommendations, what you want to see. Maybe next time we'll start with trying out this render. I don't remember who recommended this, but yeah, we'll try out that and maybe other stuff. Oh, Midnight Studio, did you figure out how to stop the rocks from animating? Unfortunately, I haven't myself. And do you still have a... Oh, let me see. I think I have the link here. Have you given it a second try? And I want to take a look at them. Another possibility is that the ones that are stopping are basically a different system. By the way, if you don't know, let me see. Do I still have that animation? Space mouse. Was it this? Yeah, it's this. Where can I recommend videos? In the Discord, you can paste the links there. So in our previous video, we were, I think, Midnight Studio was trying to make this animation, and we did everything, and I think we got stuck to how to stop these rocks. I had not taken a second try on this, but I think now when I look at this, it seems like they're just stopping the rocks. The stopped rocks seem to be a completely different animation. So let me give this a second try and see. Let me just get the video here. So we're going to end with this one here. See a way to stop these rocks. So here you can see some stop, and I want to see why couldn't we stop ours. So the way we're trying to do it by using by having empties that stop these. And let's see. But how will we stop them from going into each other? Yeah, if you're using geometry nodes, you really can't do that. And I don't think theirs also seem to be stopping. Theirs also seem to be stopping, and basically, and also colliding with each other. So if you want them to also collide with each other, I don't think you can do that with geometry nodes, or it would be really a complicated thing, because then you are dealing with physics and collisions. If you want them to stop colliding, I think you would have to do a rigid body simulation. Let me see. If I use a mix, so you can see we can stop them using this mix factor, and I think if I use a random value using probability, we can have some stopped, and I think if this value is animated, we can let me see. Could it be this easy? Yeah. So you see how I'm just switching between Yeah, this whole setup was not going to work. Even, you see, if I connect a random value to the factor and just select the ones that I want to stop, you can see they are stopping. Let me just select these, make sure that we only stop about half of them. You can see how some are stopping and others are moving. I guess we can also just use the proximity here we have. So if they are close to an empty, where is our empty? Yeah, if they are close to the empty, they can also stop. Let's see if that would work. That's a problem, because they just stop. They always just stop at the edge. At the edge of the empty. Yeah, you can either use I think the random factor works better than using an empty. Does it? Yeah, it does, because you can see some are stopped. The guy who made it in Blender. Then he must have used yeah, I think he used a rigid body system. So if we use a rigid body system, let's see. Where are our rocks collection? This is our rocks collection. It would need quite some setup if it's now, let me try something crazy here and see. Let me try. I just copy this into a new project. If you want to use a rigid body, I mean, try a plane that is slanted like this, and let me have a bunch of them. Render collection. Let's try maybe 50. Okay, I'm just going to apply, make instances real, and get rid of, hide this. Okay, hide this collection. Okay, so these are our rocks. And we can give them a rigid body type active and give this a rigid body type passive, and a lot of them seem to be intersecting, so we need a way to make them non-intersect, which I should have done before duplicating them. Actually, nah, doesn't matter. So I'm just going to grab them here when they are no longer intersecting and just do our rigid body apply transformation. Perfect. Now I scale them down. I want them to fall under roll. Right, grab this. Shift G, collection, rigid body, minus. Again, apply the transform, rigid body, apply transform. And so that this is their starting position. Now you can see that, we can see how they roll. Let me reduce the margin. Okay, so they're rolling. I can increase the friction so that they roll even more, and I can basically just have another copy here. So that's one way of doing it. Let's see. They seem to be too slow now. Now, to speed up things, I'm just going to change their bounding box, their collision. So Shift G, type, collection, rigid body. Let's use something that is faster. Except this should be convexal. So this should be easier. Still have some intersecting issues, but I'm not going to focus too much on that. You can figure that out quite easily. Now, actually, let me just wait until they are not exploding anymore. Shift G, collection, rigid body, apply, transform, rigid body, apply, transform. Okay, so they're now falling, and they're quite fast. Okay, so now let's see how to stop them while keeping. So yeah, let me make more copies here. Shift G, collection, rigid body, disable, accept this. Let me just apply the transform again. Duplicate this to have another layer here. Shift G, collection, rigid body, and apply the physics again. Okay, so we have a lot of them moving. So now to make them stop should be easy. Actually, this should be easier than the geometry node. So you just have to choose which ones you want to stop. I'm just selecting them randomly. And to make this easy, I'm just going to have them in a collection called stopped, or would be stopped, whatever. So that they're easier for me to select. And we can turn off the dynamic after a few frames. So they animate. Now let me remove these from the collection, from the stopped collections. Let's see. This is the stopped collection. Let me move them to the collection, and let me just stop a few here and maybe a few up here. Move to stopped collection, and all I need to do is animate this dynamic. So they play, and maybe at frame 80 I animate this dynamic effect. So keyframe, and frame 80 I turn off the dynamic option, and I need to link their animations. So link animation data, and that should stop these after. Perfect. I think that's it. You can see they have stopped, and they are also colliding with the others. Yeah, that's how you do that. We have the physics, and we have the collisions and the stopping. And you can also choose. So let me select them again. So that would be the stopped. Midnight Studio, is you still here? Okay, so Shift G collection stopped. You can even change the position of these stopped ones, so that they are not all stopped at frame 80. So maybe if you want this to stop at a different level, you can just what is it called? Make its animation unique by using the relation make single user object animation data. That way you can offset. So instead of stopping at 80, this selected one should start at frame 100. So let's see. So we go, the others stop. Wait. Why didn't the others? Let me see. Shift G collection stopped. Okay, it seems we didn't make the animation unique. So let's try again. So object rigid body. No. Object relation make single user object animation, I think, not animation data. So if I select the keyframe for this, it should be different from the others in the stopped collection. So if I select this and move this to frame 50, the rest should still have their keyframes at frame 100. So this is stopping at frame 50, the others at frame 100. And so let's try again. Which one was it? Okay, this. So it should be the first to stop, and then the others. You can see them. They stopped at 100. So I can even just select a bunch of others that I want to stop at 100. But to make it easier, you should move them to a different collection. So maybe stopped at 50, so that they are easier to select, and they will link to this. So Shift G, want to select by collection, the one stopped at 50, and Control L, link animation. Is it link animation data? Yeah, so that these are stopping at 50. They stop, and the others collide. Anyway, yeah, I think that's it. And if they have the same material, so Shift G collection stopped at 50. If they all have the same material, you can just use a mix node color and give this a red value. And change it at frame 50. So at frame before 50, they are that color, and then at frame 50, they switch. But then you just have to assign that to the stopped versions, or the stopped one. Anyway, that's it. Yeah, you can send more tutorial requests on Discord. Yeah. Thank you for watching. Thank you for 65 likes, and yeah, thank you everyone. Thank you Midnight Studio, Romulo, Mano, the greatest of the world, PR Studio, Dak Nguyen. Who else was in chart here? Let's see. Lucknow Dreads, Karan Kumar, Lee Bansley, and who else was in chart? Dasindu Rhythmika, then AJ Creations, Draconaldox. Yeah, thank you guys. I'll see you in the next stream. And yeah, I'll be posting it when I'm ready for it. So thank you for watching. See you.